Well, I mean, it's kind of hard for Ryan and I to really understand. Is it that terrible being a minority in America? I think for white people we know it, but we really don't.
It depends where you live, Lee. It depends where you live. Ferguson, Missouri is probably the equivalent to, something like Harlem. I've never been there. It's like any other place USA where they have an African American fucking community. And then inside the African American community, they have 3 blocks of fucking hell where people go to buy crack and there's hookers and God knows what else is down there. And listen, man.
I mean, I'll say this too.
You're from Baltimore.
Well, and let's be honest.
Let's go.
I am from Baltimore, but when I say Baltimore, not those neighborhoods of Baltimore. You know what I mean? So I can't speak intelligently on what's going on. Just because you're from a city doesn't mean you can speak intelligently on what's going on in those, pockets and those areas of that city.
Yeah, people always ask me.
I don't hang out. When people hear Baltimore, they think The Wire.
Yeah.
I have never hung out in a neighborhood like that. I mean, they're there. That's all real, but I'm saying I don't go into those neighborhoods. There's no reason for me to be in those neighborhoods.
Right.
I can't tell you what's going on in those neighborhoods.
People always ask me when they hear Boston, is Boston racist? And I've heard stories, and I'm sure in some parts it is. But
just the white people.
Just the I never saw it, but then again, I'm white as fuck, and I probably wouldn't see it.
When somebody says racist, is it 5 guys in the bar giggling, and all of a sudden they say, "Oh, did you see that nigga chick last night?" Is it that type of racist, or is it racist that people actually put a fucking hood on and go out and pick fights? No. Boston, everybody gets along because you got black guys in the Boston Celtics. See, once the fucking black guys got put on the Boston Celtics,
and Big Papi,
that's it. That's it. That was it. They were like, you know what? I don't know about these black dudes, but they could play. Let's give them a fucking chance. But in all seriousness, I mean, in 1985, I used to hang out in San Francisco, and I used to hang out with these Cuban refugees. Cubans had just come over, and they were putting them in different pockets. And I remember that there was this one guy that they would give you 20 nickel bags, and let's say at $5 a piece, it comes out to $125 or something. They would give you like $50 out of the $125. And there were days when I was broke, and I just go out there and just to hang out with the guys. You could do 25 nickel bags in an hour, just to hang out with the guys. I'd say, give me a thing, and they give them to you, and you'd hide them. You'd hide them under bumpers, in cars. You'd hide them, so if the cops come, you could just, you don't have them on you.
Right.
And listen, man, every 4 fucking days, cops pulled up. And I'm a white fucking dude on paper until you take my license. It says Jose Diaz. In those days, I didn't carry a license. But my point is they would just pull up and jump out of cars and throw you against a wall. It's tough to be a cop in America.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's gotten taken away from the cops when I was banging heads and I was out there getting pulled over and robbing and all that shit is the sense of community. Okay, so Ryan lives where?
Now?
Yeah.
Santa Monica.
Okay, so you live in Santa Monica. You come up to the Valley tomorrow. Let me see how I could do this. Okay, you live in Santa Monica. You live on a block that there's a Ralph's and all this shit. And there's a neighborhood cop. Same fucking cop. Same fucking cop that's been there for years. And he sees you and he waves at your kids. And sometimes he pulls over and you get in the car and let the kid fucking beep the horn. And, But you know him. His name is Phil, Officer fucking Jones. And you get to know him 3-4 fucking years. Now, God forbid you come up to the Valley. You come up to the Valley one day, we're all hanging out, and on the way out the door, you get into an argument with some kid. And you smack him, and you get in the car, and the kid takes your license plate. They go up to the Valley here in North Hollywood. They do the paperwork. They come down to Santa Monica to put that warrant. Guess who's coming to your house with the cops from the Valley? Officer Smith, because that's his neighborhood. And guess what Officer Smith is going to do? The guys that are coming down.
Phil.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Officer Phil. That's what we said he was. Yeah.
Okay, Officer
Phil Smith.
Officer Phil, the cops that are coming from the Valley, they're coming from the Valley with one side of a story in their head. Do you follow me? They're coming from the story that some kid was walking down the block on a skateboard and my man fucking Ryan just bit-slapped him and got in his car.
And the cops could know that guy from the Valley.
Okay.
So it could be like his
right, so what a shame. The kid's a great kid. So now they're coming down here with what? With blood in their eyes. All right? But guess who stops him?
Phil.
Officer Phil goes, hold on one second. To knock on his door, I got to come with you. And he explains to him this has to be a misunderstanding. I know him, I know his wife, I know his kids. He's a stand-up comic, he's a decent guy. So now the blood gets tanned. They want to hear your side of the story. They'll take you down booking. So you understand me, you had that type of relationship with the police officers. I don't know what's happened the last 10 years. I'm not out there. But I know there's no relationship with police officers. There's no more neighborhood cop. So I know what a black neighborhood is. I went into them to get drugs. I know how they shake you down. You know, in the old days, they'd have gun on their holsters. Now they're coming out shooting guys. And if they see any infraction, how many shootings have you seen in the last 3 years that you're like, where's the justification for this fucking shooting?
A lot.
Where's the justification for this fucking shooting? There's none. He got on the floor, and the guy, the guy shot him a couple of weeks ago, the kid in Cincinnati.
I can't look at the stories anymore.
Yeah,
It's
one
just too
dude,
much for me.
he told him to reach for his license. He went to reach for it, then he shot him, and he even said, well, he's hit. And he's like, you told me to go for my license. I'm getting my license, yeah.
So who the fuck knows the pressures it is to be a cop?
But
I've
also,
never been a cop.
when you watch these videos, for me at least, when I see a cop's body cam and I see it from their point of view, to me, at any moment, it's like the end of Sopranos. Who's it going to be that's going to, you know what I mean? I think that it's so heightened right now that I'd be scared out there. I'd definitely be scared.
If I got pulled over today, I'd be scared.
Yeah. I'd be the cop
be
too, though. I
petrified.
mean, I'd be scared if I was
I
the
would
cop
put my
too.
hands right out the fucking window.
Yeah.
And let the cam watch it, put my hands out the window. You know, I would do everything. I was thinking about it the other day. What if I get pulled over at night when I'm coming home from the comedy store? I would just as soon as I open my window and put my hands on the window.
I'm with you.
And that's it. That's the end of the
Then when they
fucking
get there, can I reach for my license?
Can I reach for my
I'm
license,
reaching for my
officer?
license. I'm the same way.
But even if things weren't heightened, isn't there always going to be some sort of like tension between the cops and I don't want to say just black people, but it just in this
right
case,
now,
black
in
people.
this part, right now in our world today, in the United States, there's a hidden tension with black people and cops. And if you don't think you'd have to.
Yeah.
You'd have to. Okay. You get a call tomorrow. There's some fucking Cuban dude smacking Jewish people. He goes into synagogues and just smacks you and runs out. He goes into temples and I walk up on you. Is your defense going to be up or are you going to be glad to see me? You don't know if I'm going to smack you.
Right.
Same fucking thing. Every black person in America right now, whether they're a criminal or just a regular black person, after you see the shooting in Cincinnati,
Yeah.
you have to be a little scared subconsciously. You could say, suck my dick, they're going to suck my white dick or my black dick. But subconsciously, that goes into your subconscious mind. So you have to be a little bit fucking scared.
I was always scared of
inside.
cops.
Always. Me too.
yeah, me too. I've never been comfortable.
Me too. You suck. That was the name, all right? By the way, you got to hit me up with names. Everybody wants fucking names.
I figured you guys had a good one.
No, we had no fucking name. We were lip syncing, singing the Beatles over fucking music with the Jackson 5, like 4 fucking momos. But my point being, he said that he kept watching his kids watching TV. And it was completely different. They watched television a different way. They watched it on demand or something. And he went to sci-fi and kept telling them things are changing. And sci-fi was like, nah, we're going to keep doing it. So he quit and he fucking started this YouTube channel for horror people. And he's doing great with it. $7 a month, unlimited horror. He gets it from all over the world. He's been a horror buff since we were growing up. That was his thing. He went to the movies in Jersey City, and he'd tell you, and you're like, Jesus. But he was such a nice guy, and he had such a passion for what he did. And now he's making a living from just because he saw the future. So even as a comic, I'm very fortunate. You are, too, that we're part of the podcast thing.
Oh,
I look at a lot of
absolutely.
comics still and go, you don't have a podcast, and you're not part of one. You know, right now you're suspect. Even if your podcast sucks, you're suspect because you don't have one. People are like, why wouldn't you have a fucking podcast? Everybody has a podcast, or at least is trying to put one together, or is a part of one, or calls one in. If you're a comedian, I'm not talking about if you're, a stockbroker working 12-hour days busting your ass, or fucking assholes like me and making people laugh. You guys work for real. You got no fucking time.
It's just crazy how much competition there's for kids, like how much they have to know now. Like when I was talking to the parents, I brought up Cassius Morris and how he's been doing it since he was 10, and like part of what I was doing up there was training like the 13-year-old girls to run the board and do everything that we're doing, and and they're already animating stuff, and it's just crazy how much stuff there is for them now, and how great. Like if you started a podcast, like you said, you met somebody this weekend who's been following you for 15 years. If there's a comedian now who's 16 or 18 and starts a podcast, by the time he gets to be 30, he'll definitely have people who were there from the beginning.
How fucking crazy is that? I got a call from Roger Paul, maybe 16 years ago. Roger Paul's a fucking kinky guy, and whenever the phone rings, there's always going to be a by the way. So they want to hire you in Milwaukee. I had worked with a guy on a Yoda run.
Wait.
Okay.
What's a Yoda run?
Yoda is a guy out of Michigan.
Oh, Yoda. Okay.
And 10 years ago, the father, old man Yoda, 15, 20 years ago, if you're a comic and you were from the Midwest, it was them and somebody else. But Yoda controlled the Midwest. Whether you were dirty or clean, if he liked you, you covered your nut. He had 63 rooms and 22 weeks. Like all those cities in Michigan, there was a comedy club that he booked. That's it. And they were all, some were B rooms, some were fucking D rooms, some were A rooms. And he had Buffalo, he had Cleveland. I mean, he had so many rooms. So I did a Yoda run, and I met this dude from Milwaukee. And I said, what do I got to do to get into that room in Milwaukee? And he goes, I'll recommend you. And 3 months later, some guy calls me and says, hey, they're looking for you to see if you want to work that room. So I went up there in the dead of the winter, February, Valentine's Day weekend, like that weekend. Oh, my God. The by the way was the condo. It looked like the Munsters. I mean, from the front. It even had the gate and shit, the whole fucking deal, everything. Oh, my God. I've talked about this. It was just horrific. But anyway, when I was up there that time, I met the lady who actually books that. And she used to book that room at the time in Appleton. She's still around. Her daughter's now a booker in that area. Very small venues, colleges, shit like that. So when she offered me the week, she said, if you come in Tuesday, I got a show I do at Marquette. You could do the show, $125, one of those deals, So I went and did the show. And in those days, all I did was snort blow and hang out at the store. That's it. So my whole comedy routine was about fiending and looking out windows and, nobody was laughing. But no, I don't remember. I do not remember. I don't even listen sometimes. I can't even hear whether people laughing. I knew it wasn't my audience. But now, this weekend in Minneapolis, some kid pulls me aside for the Friday night early show and says that he was there that night, and he came to the comedy club that weekend to see me, and he remembered the girl with the red hair. And it was just really nice that he was like, I made a mental note. I always knew you would do something. It was very nice.
That is nice.
You don't bump into people like that anymore.
No. I made a mental note of you a while ago. I mean, I've known you, but I've always sort of kept to myself. We've done several shows together, but there was one we did, the Hollywood Improv years ago, and a girl went up, and she was pretty dirty, and you followed her, and you got up and you said, that's the type of chick that'll let you fuck her in the ass, pull it out, and suck it. And then the crowd went nuts, and you laughed. But that was your way of saying, like, I loved her. That's what you said after. Like, I loved her. I loved her. Dude, I laughed so fucking hard at that for like 5 goddamn minutes because it's probably 100% true. So funny.
Oh, my God.
That was your just walk up and say it off the top of your head. It was so
sometimes you got to break a room up.
It was perfect.
Listen, unless you're fucked up, you always, if you have that little sarcasm gene, there's things people say that no matter what age they say it, something comes to your mind and you want to crack a joke, whether it's to yourself, whether it's to the room, whatever the fuck it is, Today the baby was looking at me and she kept looking at me going, blow, daddy. Blow. And I'm like, in 20 years, you won't be saying, like, you think of things like that,
yeah.
A hot girl goes up on a stage. Her tits are out. She's talking about getting fucked in the ass. You're sitting there. You're a man. Even if you're on a date, what are you thinking about? Fucking her in the ass and sticking your dick in her mouth. All I'm doing is going on stage and saying what you're thinking. The reason why I got to laugh was because this is, as I walked out, this was what everybody was fucking thinking. Everybody was fucking thinking, oh my God, who knows? I hate when comics go up with the set routine. Sometimes you have to react to the fucking room.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You have to
100%.
react to the room as a comedy. There's comedy. There's natural comedy in the room. Nothing bothers me more when I see something coming. There's always, even in just regular conversation sometimes, there's a great comedic banter in a conversation, energy that somebody else might not be laughing, but you might. You ever feel that?
Oh,
you
yeah.
Feel that
all the time.
A little comedy, light banter that you're like, oh my God, that thing in a movie was such a brilliant conversation they had. It was so, as people say.
That's the stuff that makes me laugh most that you say now. Because I'll come and see shows a lot, so I'll get to know some bits. But the stuff that makes me laugh is the stuff that you just say that you'll never say again.
Yeah, that's those are my favorite people in the world. Like, my grandmother and her sisters were the same way. I couldn't wait to hear what, we've all been through situations, but I couldn't wait to hear their response.
I swear to God, I got a crush on Mrs. Obama. She gained like 10 pounds.
I don't care. I think
But she's looking
fine.
good in those polyester suits.
She's fine.
You see her on fucking Good Morning America? Oh, my God, she looks good.
Oh, my God.
What's happening, you bad motherfuckers? Thursday morning, the man, the legend himself, Mr. Ryan Sickler, straight out of Baltimore before the fucking wire. You know what I'm saying? He lit the wire. This motherfucker lit the wire and left.
Thank you for having me on.
What's
man.
going on, brother? Good to see you.
It's good to see you, dude. This is what I want to say first before I say anything about myself. I watched your Degenerate special. I thought it was fantastic.
Thank you.
And I don't want to blow your cover, but a lot of people know this, and some people maybe they don't. You're the nicest fucking guy. Like, you really care about people. I tell everybody, like, Joey Diaz, you see that guy on stage, that's that dude. But you know what that dude also does? Calls you. Not text. You call. How you doing, Ryan Ziegler? Every time. Checking on me all the time, man. I can't thank you enough for it.
You're your friends.
You're
man.
Great, though. A lot of people don't do that. You're really good at it.
Listen, man, I'm sick and tired of
you're
people
a sweetheart.
saying I have no friends.
You got a lot of friends.
You don't. Friendship doesn't come because you're such a nice guy. Either you could have millions of dollars and buy your friends, or you could earn people's friendship. And one way to earn people's friendship is when the peanut butter jar broke, the peanut butter's on the floor, your kid's yelling, you're late for an audition, you're going crazy, and all of a sudden the phone rings and somebody just doesn't want something from you. They just call you to go, hey, man, I was thinking about you.
It's so nice.
Right there in that moment, even though everything's going on, for somebody to say, dog, the other night at the Comedy Store, I saw you, and I forgot to tell you, your set was brilliant. Something about Saturday night. A couple weeks ago, I went up there, and who's the guy that had the show when we first started comedy with the long hair? Tom Rhodes was up before.
Yeah.
Brilliant. The set he did was brilliant.
Tom's great.
It took me 5 days to remember to call him and call him. And I go, hey, man, I'm calling you to say hello, but I'm calling you to say that your set the other night was brilliant. That humans don't have that no more. When I get a text message that says happy birthday or happy Thanksgiving or Merry Christmas.
That I'm guilty of it too.
I want to call you up and say, you know what? I hope your mother gets hit by an Amtrak. Because you got to know she raised you the wrong way. Don't you fucking text me Merry Holidays. You pick up that phone and you don't call. Don't even bother. Don't waste your time. I want to hear your voice. I want to know what you're feeling. I'm friends with you. I know what makes you tick.
I think it's beautiful.
And if you don't do that, you're not going to have... Everybody wants to have friends, but everybody wants to have friends. I want to have a friend that if I stab a motherfucker, my wife says, Ryan Sickler called. Your bail is $500,000, but he's got 25 that he can lend you till you get out and do a benefit. There you go. Mm-hmm. That's not friends. Those aren't the same people that come to your birthday party at La Mirage. And, You know what I'm saying? Oh, my God. To a wonderful man, let's raise our champagne glasses. That don't happen. That's only in the movies. If that's what you're looking for, you're going to die with nobody. You're going to die alone because those people only come when your pockets are full. They're not going to be there when your pockets are empty. I look at how many people were around me when my pockets were empty and I was struggling in comedy, and I look at where they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those people now come to the shows in Jersey. Like last week I did Gotham. I saw people there that I used to make go to open mics. You know when they make you bring 4 people?
Yeah.
There were kids in that crew that I would bring to those things. Like 20 years ago. Like,
really?
You got to do me a big favor. Before you go to the city tonight, stop at Stand Up New York and just pay for a ticket. It's $8. And they would go, for you, I'll do it. And they would bring like 6 of them would show up and they'd spend $600 at the bar and they'd be snorting in the bathroom. And then the club owner would go, listen, you can come here whenever you want as long as your friends come. Because they'd spend $400 or $500 at the bar. Right. I still talk to those people. You know, those people were there when I was doing open mics.
Dude, I'm still friends with guys from elementary school. I'm still good friends with guys from elementary school, middle school, and high school. There's a couple college people, but the core of my friends back home, and I see every time I go home, I see a good chunk of them. You know, everybody's got kids and things now, but still, we still have to make time to get together. But they're all from back in the day, all of them.
And every day I go, I got to call this guy. And it'll take me 3 days to call him, but in the meantime, I'll call other people. But it'll take me 3 days to go, I got to call this fucking guy. Wait a second, this guy works nights. I'll call him on my way to the comedy store.
Right, on my drive, yeah.
You know, Timmy works nights.
But that's beyond considering someone. It's also their schedule and when you can actually think you've got a shot at getting a hold of them instead of just throwing on a voicemail that no one listens to anymore anyway. You know what I mean? Like, remember when it used to be like you had to be somewhere to get that fucking call. You had to be right here to get this call. Then it came call wait, and you were like, oh my God, 2 people think enough of me to call me at the same fucking time? Like, holy shit, hang on a second. Then you got the answer machine. It was like, let's listen to this message. Now, I see people on their phone with 300 missed fucking calls and 80 voicemails. I'm like, what the fuck happened? What happened?
I don't know if you guys ever run into this. It blew my mind just because I grew up on the phone. There's a lot of people, especially my age and a little bit younger, who say they get anxiety about being on the phone. Like they don't want it. They won't make calls to anybody. That doesn't make sense to me. But people can get anxiety about anything, I guess. But
I like the personal aspect of life. I think that if you don't want it in your life, you don't have to have it. For me, I prefer that contact. You know, I like talking to my friends I grew up with instead of talking to these people in LA. And like, you could do so much in LA to have people in your corner that say yes to you.
Yeah.
You could hire 4 people and have a big payroll and everybody's saying yes to you and getting your coffee, and you could yell and make scenes, and he's having a bad day today. Who gives a fuck? You know, what keeps me grounded is in the morning when I call one of my buddies from high school. And like I told Brody Stevens, they're delivering a FedEx package and they're making $12.50 an hour at 55, and they're running up and downstairs. And I go to a comedy main room on a Tuesday and pick up $300 or something like that, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, it brings it levels me.
It does. It's a balance, you know? Yeah.
We've, years ago, 10, 12, 13 years ago, a company ran a commercial. And it's a Salesforce. And the guy walks back in and he starts giving everybody a plane ticket. Lee Syatt, here you go. Ryan Sickler, here you go. Tony Bananas, here you go. Johnny Gumbad, here you go. And they're all looking at their plane tickets. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, I looked at the stats of the company and I looked at the national stats. Sales are down because we do everything on these. Like, this was a commercial. And he goes, we're going back out there talking to people and we're going to get back in people's faces. That's how you sell accounts. Good luck, gentlemen. And they were like looking around like at each other. And it said like the name of the company, if their salesmen make a count. But it's true, we've forgotten all those personal little things.
That personal
and I
interaction
learned those little things when I sold cars. I was 2 things. Guess what I used to do a lot more than I do now. I was a letter writer.
You were?
I loved writing letters.
To who?
Whoever.
You would do it for someone? Like I could say, hey,
no,
okay.
no,
this isn't
you had pen pals?
This is contact.
Prison inmates.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not trying to make a joke. Was it from you being in prison?
No, this was something that I learned from a guy named Carmine Balzano when I was growing up.
Such a
This guy
that is the most Italian fucking thing.
This guy got caught with machine guns. This guy got caught with fucking, not paying parking tickets, ripping tickets up. Like you'd come to him and go, I got $1,000 in tickets, and he'd rip them up. This guy lived corruption, but what he did was write letters to editors, and he would get his stories always printed. He was a letter writer, and I would look at that, and he'd always say the pen is mightier than the sword. Sometimes, he'd say in his words, sometimes the pen is mightier than the gun. Like he was a cop, and something he did something. Just I got into writing letters. Pick up these deliver appliances.
Like fridges and shit?
Yeah. Like,
Did someone buy them, or you just found them?
no, we would get subcontracted.
Oh, okay.
And you would deliver the washer and dryer and shit. Yeah.
We'd have to go to this place. We pull up at the place, and there's 30 air conditioners on the loading dock. I go in, I give the guy the bill. No cameras in those days either. I give the guy the bill of lading. He gives me the paperwork. The retard kid comes over. I'll help you with the refrigerator. He carries it in. Then the guy gets in his car, one of his buddies. I'm going to get high. 50 fucking air conditioners in the thing. I go, Mike, open up the back of that thing. What are you going to do? Just shut your mouth. We started putting fucking air conditioners in that thing. 10, 20. I was like the UPS man. I took every last air conditioner.
All of Brooklyn had air conditioning on that block.
No, Jersey. We dropped off the refrigerator and we turned that motherfucker around and we just drove down the boulevard. $100 a piece, an air conditioner. It's July. It was June. It was like stealing.
Oh, yeah.
We sold them with them 1 hour.
I'll bet.
We split the fucking money. I went over to McGrath's house, my 8th grade teacher, my football coach, the running back coach.
Slash bookie.
And I bought 1,000 of those little gram bottles of Coke from him.
Oh, my God.
And I went out with my friends. I told I was going to meet him at Joe and Mary's, but I took like a fucking Quaalude. And me and my buddies got fucked up. I woke up the next morning, I left it stiff. So, and we did the same shit every week. Tuesday was McSorley's Ale House. Shillelagh's was in Jersey City. 30 cents for an Alabama Slammer and 5 cents for a mug of beer till 10 o'clock.
Damn.
At 10:01,
5 cents.
You couldn't find a friend.
Yeah.
10:01, the place was vacant. It was fucking crazy.
We're out of here.
10:01. At 9:45, people would get 3 mugs and 3 drinks. Like you see people drinking out of 3 straws and shit. Wednesday was ladies' night at the Dome, and Thursdays was another ladies' night. So we attacked them because they were 50 cents drink. So come here. Here's a 10. Go buy you and me 6 whores a drink and bring me one. So,
6 whores.
So for $7, you were a hooker. You were
Hell yeah.
really? Yeah, I'm a big shot tonight. Well, yeah. So I saw her down there, and I apologized to her. I'm sorry. In fact, I saw her on a Wednesday down there, and I said, I'm sorry about last night. I got fucked up. And she goes, I said, how about dinner tomorrow? And I took her to Piccolissimo in Fort Lee, New Jersey, like a doctor. There was adults that hadn't been to Piccolissimo. I forget what the guy's name was. The guy has a weird name. He's missing his stomach, though.
What?
He owns the restaurant.
It's always up.
That's not a good sign.
Hold on, I'll find
That's
out.
a hell of a curse to own a restaurant and be missing your stomach.
The stomach had a dish called lobster fra diablo.
No wonder he burned his stomach out. No wonder he doesn't have
Okay.
Fra Diablo is the best.
The name of this thing was lobster fra diablo.
Yeah.
His name was Johnny Monaco. And he owned Piccolissimo. He had no stomach, so he'd always be fucking like looking at your food. And I go, Johnny, eat a clam. I can't.
I can't.
I got no stomach.
I have never met somebody without
I was a kid, and I'm going up there fucking giving orders. Because we'd get like a score, and I'd go up there and drop money. Give them a drink. Give them all a drink. Go ahead. Don't worry about nothing. And people would get pissed. It was like that scene when Belushi went to the restaurant and Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was white people in Fort Lee. And I would go up there with 16 gorillas. So I took her on a date up there. They brought you a dish. I'm not even exaggerating. It was this big that looked like a fish. And in the middle was pasta. It was surrounded by clams, mussels, and shrimp to the deck.
God
and
damn.
then on the top,
Made me
2
hungry.
big lobster tails that were cracked open with red sauce on top.
Oh.
No. De pinga. You'd put your little thing on. She was in heaven. She's eating this fucking thing. Then we get out of there. I take it down by the Binghamton. The Binghamton was a boat that you could go on and have a few drinks. There was a movie theater there. That's why I saw 48 Hours and Ghostbusters. But outside of there,
Your memory is something
if
else.
you snorted coke out there after like 20 minutes, you'd hear the rats from the Hudson River would try to chip away at your car. It was fucking crazy.
At your car are coming
It was
at?
crazy. And Freddie Bassusudo had a hole in his car. So we had to put a fucking piece of 2x4 over it whenever we went down there to make out with chicks and shit. You know, we used to drink beers and throw them out of the hole.
Oh, that's great.
And people be driving going, what the fuck?
That's all that rust. My buddy had a Volkswagen with floorboards rusted out too. His foot fell through one time on the highway. Oh shit! He's like, he's yelling. We're trying to stop the car. His foot's through it.
So I take this little Tritches. Her name was Lisa Tritches, and she had a sister named Sue. She looked just like Pat Benatar in the first video of You Better Run with the red and white shirt on. I even made her get a red and white shirt. I better go get a red and white shirt on.
Yeah.
You're looking like Pat. And we started swapping spit, and I started eating her pussy. And she started, and I remember she used to put talcum powder in her pussy, because when I opened it up, a bunch of it came out and hit me in the face. You know what I'm saying? And that bitch is on Facebook. She ain't dying of ovarian cancer. She's kicking. She's from Jersey. But she had a shot of talcum powder hit me in the face. And I ate her pussy. She was banging on the top of the car. I had her out there fucking both legs eating. I put a Coke rock on her pussy. No dick. I cut her off from the dick. No dick tonight. I'm dropping you off at home, and don't even look at me sideways. And then I went over there fucking Friday night. I dropped her off like a gentleman, and we made plans Saturday night to eat a pussy. Saturday night I was going to fuck her. And we went out, we went to a party. I got into a fight in the party. My hand got stuck in a barbed wire fence right here as he was taking me down. I stuck my hand in the fence and went in there. I'm like, God damn it. Cops came. Me and my boy and her and a piece of ass she had, Tasia Romano. Tasia Romano was a hot piece of ass. But
Tasia Romano. That's a name right
listen
there.
to this. This was one of those bitches that for 6 months she looked good. And for 6 months she show up looking like Lee. So I used to call her Tasia Romano Big Fat Piano. Because she would go, then for fucking 6 months she would not eat a thing and she'd puke and vomit. My guest today is my main man. And the best interviewer I know. Mr. Ryan Sickler.
Man, thank you.
The Flying Jew is also in house.
Hello.
What's up, dog?
Thank you for having me back, man. That's high praise right there. The best interviewer, you know.
Best.
You know,
I don't open up to nobody like I open up to you.
You've wept on my show a few times. You have been moved quite a bit. I'm very impressed by it as always. So thank you for having me back.
It's really fun when people think, I love when people call you up and go, hey, I just want to be on your podcast. You know what? I don't even fucking know you. If you look at the podcast you have high numbers with, it's people you have a feeling with.
That's right.
You share mutual love with.
There's
because the love gets picked up on the airwaves. And people call their friends and say, yeah, listen to this podcast. It's kind of special. And it's not special. They've already heard the stories. It's the electricity between two people speaking, which is what I like the most about podcasts. That's why I don't like fucking 18 people in a room when I do a podcast. I like the intimacy, the one-on-one conversation.
Yeah.
You know, once you have 6 mics going, 8 mics going, you have 9 different energies, and it's that one-on-one love. And people feel that when I'm with your podcast, Segura's podcast, Tripoli, Eddie Bravo. The numbers are always good because the love is there. Rogan in the millions.
Yeah.
Red Band in the millions because the love is there. And people don't seem to get that. Us as podcasters for the last 8-9 years, you know, yesterday I got hit up by some retard. I want to start a podcast where we eat hot and spicy chicken nuggets. And, oh yeah, the whole lineup was.
Watch that thing will be doing 2 million downloads an episode.
Yeah, like nobody's done that before. Eating a hot and spicy chicken on fucking line, like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to eat hot and spicy chicken online. I already did hot wings. It's on True TV now. I got a feather in my cap. That's it. Nah, I'm gonna eat hot and spicy chicken. What, are you fucking retarded? The host is the kiss of death. and the two other guys, what are they gonna do for me? Get the show started and then get back to me. What if you do 3 episodes and somebody dies from that fucking Chinese chicken you're selling? And I gotta be a part of that. I'm in the co-conspiracy. Yeah, I'm in the fucking in the fucking. You know, people just don't get it. That there's a limit that I disappear once it comes to podcasts. When you call me with like a fucking game show type podcast, you're in no danger. Oh yes, you did that, whatever. I'll put you. You know, if you're gonna be that stupid, I got a call from a dear friend of mine that wanted me to do a podcast on a Sunday in a fucking like a sauna with no clothes on, and I'm like, hey. First of all, Sunday is the Lord's Day. Number 2, on Sundays, I don't really know what I want to do day. I'm just flying back from a show the night before, 50% of the time, and I really don't know what I want to do. Sunday mornings are my favorite in the world because my wife and baby leave the church at 9. Not to my type of church, some other religion, whatever that fucking Christianity.
There's no chickens involved.
Yeah, there's no chickens involved. There's no rape and there's no crackers. You know what I'm saying? My daughter brought home one of those Catholic chocolates the other day. It tastes like priest penis. She's like, look, Daddy. I go, what flavor is it? And in my head, I said, priest penis. But I couldn't tell her that. You know? Oh, I ended up eating the chocolate later on when I woke up from my coma. She's like, Daddy,
where's that dick chocolate?
Somebody ate my chocolate. I said, the priest took it. Don't worry about it.
Devil.
He was in a tight spot, the priest. So, oh my God. So that's what.
Well, we're going to get your full life story. We're doing it. I mean, I don't. This is probably going to come out the same week, or your episode, which we've already recorded, will come out.
No, this is your week episode after. Is coming out 2 weeks after.
I'm saying your episode for mine. We already recorded another episode with you on the Honeydew.
Yes,
and that's probably going to come out in the same about a week or 2.
Right.
And I think we're only. I mean, what are we? I called them the Denver days. We just got into Denver, so you're early 20s, I think, and we're gonna do your whole life story until we get to current. We're gonna chronicle
every day. I put away an hour to write something, and I've been pretty successful with it lately. It's been working well, and your memory doesn't really open up until you start opening it up and reading it back. I've been catching the coffee shop where I go in the afternoon 1 hour a day lately. Just 1 hour and 15 minutes. I park, I get a green tea, and I just write out. And I was started on drugs. And it's hilarious. Like, there's nights I sit here with Lee and I torture Lee, but Lee knows I love him. Lee will call me the next day and say, I got so fucked up on that. And Lee will go, I don't know how you did it. And to this day, people cannot realize even I feel it. Like when people give me a pill that says kill them, it won't do nothing.
You're like, this is aspirin.
I did 2 pills about a year and a half ago. I went to do a podcast and the people were junkies. And they had a bag of pills. And they gave me like a pill and a half. And I am not going to sit here and lie to you. I got fucked up, but that's the day Yoel Romero came in.
Right.
And I had to do a podcast with Yoel. Then we had to go eat chicken, Cuban food. And I was surprised on how well I kept it together. It was a Percocet and a Vicodin combined and something else. I was high for 8 hours straight.
Yeah.
But from my experiences as a young man, I kept it together. And I started writing this thing for March 25th. At the Comedy Store about addictions, my addiction. Throughout all this story, I haven't mentioned to you guys what at 14, if you would have come up to me and said, Joey, are you ever going to be interested in doing coke or whatever, I'd probably beat the fuck out of you. But at 14, at 13, I probably started smoking pot at 12 and a half. Let's just be safe. Let's just be safe and not lie to each other. 12 and a half, 13. Very subtly. Once a month. It went from once a month.
And is this floating through the bar or is this through school?
This is
or kids in the neighborhood?
This is the neighborhood, downtown.
All right.
we had a thing called the Woods, and we would roll 3 joints and smoke them in a glass pipe that you held on like a carburetor. You sucked on it, and then you let the thing go, and all the air would hit.
Yeah.
And we would make them with toilet paper rolls. And we do the same thing with toilet paper rolls.
Like gravity hits.
With aluminum foil.
Yeah.
So we were doing all that. In those days, it was very hush-hush. It was me and 3 other kids. And
Same age kids?
Yeah. We had the Visine, the Banaka.
The kit, yeah.
Yeah. And then we'd walk to this diner on Tunley Avenue that is non-existent. It was a real redneck trucker diner. And they had, like, the music on the wall. You know, like when you spin it and you could play songs. And we'd go in there, listen to Margaritaville, and just fucking, then the waitress would come and she'd be like 40 and ugly. She smoked like 1,000 cigarettes and she was 3.
3.
Smoking since she was 3. And fucking we'd laugh at her. We'd just start laughing at her. And she'd give us the menus and say, I'll come back when you grow up. Like shit like that. It started like a fun thing. And then we started, by the 8th grade, we were doing it in between classes sometimes. Like 3 of us would get together and smoke a joint, go back to class lit up, and start making noises in class and giggle and the whole thing. And then it was just a slow process. I knew that I just liked marijuana. Mm-hmm. I knew the dangers of cocaine. I knew the dangers of heroin. But then a friend of mine came to me one day and he goes, let's do it with acid. I was the Rolling Stones in the 8th grade. My 8th grade graduation, that was his present for me. He goes, I'm taking you to see the Stones. We got to take a hit of window pane acid. I'm like, oh, here we go. I go, how bad could it be? It was bad. But I went to the concert, and then I kind of liked acid. I liked where it took me. I liked that I could go home and listen to music. And I would pop acid, again, once a month for a while. Then it became twice a month. And then it became a thing that we would do 3 nights a week.
Damn.
We're tripping 3 nights
For how long? How many years?
For
a year? 2 years?
That's
so crazy to me.
Shit. Half the week is on acid.
This is freshman year, about November.
Oh my god!
We were doing hits of acid.
3 a week.
3 a week.
And is it just one hit a night, or are you doubling up on those hits?
No.
Okay.
One.
All right.
One would take you. If you did it at 6, you'd be cooking till 3, and I mean cooking, like you could go home by yourself.
Somebody told me a story one time. Acid, shrooms, opium, things like that didn't come through our way until the Grateful Dead came to town. We would all go to the parking lot. We'd party at the Capitol Center back in the day where they did heavy metal parking lot. That's the Capitol Center. We're there for the Grateful Dead, and I didn't smoke or anything, but everybody I hung out with did, and I never minded that they did. I kind of enjoyed like seeing what happened. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm not going to do cocaine. Well, I'm not going to do fucking pills. I'm not. But one of our friends, somebody told me this. I hope this is fucking true, but I guess he had bought a sheet of acid, put it in his pocket to take back with us later that night, and it rained. And the rain washed the fucking acid into his skin, into his. And they said he had to take him to the hospital. Everything. Can that really happen? Come on, that shit can seep in. I guess it could, right? It's just acid.
I know that I was clean and sober. Okay, I was clean and sober. They threatened me with fucking going back to prison and finishing my sentence. And one day I get a call that I tested positive for cocaine. And I go, I don't snort the cocaine. I just sell it. And I told that to a friend of mine. He goes, are you retarded? He goes, every time you touch those rocks, that stuff goes through your skin. Sure, you're going to test positive. One time I tested positive. I wasn't even doing it. It was from touching it. So, yes, I do believe that story. Especially back then, the acid was thicker.
I never fucked it. Look, you gave me shrooms.
If I eat
you just gave me shrooms at Comedy Store at the last. Okay,
how was it?
They were good.
They were good, yeah.
I had them. I had some that night, and then I still have what you gave me to take home with me.
Fuck, I got a bag at the house.
But I'll tell you this. So when I first moved out here, because I've only done shrooms like 5 times, and at one point I enjoyed it, but also I'm the guy that's like, all right, it's been 5 hours, get the fuck out of here. You know, I'm like that with company. You know what I mean? All right, it's, you know, hit it. We had a good time. Get the fuck out of here. I don't need to still be hearing my music going wah 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 after 5 fucking hours. You know, I get it. But back when I first lived here, this was in the 1900s, man. This was 97, bro. Late 1900s, 1997. I first moved here to go to college, and that was the whole Northridge quake. I was coming here to go to Northridge when the quake hit and destroyed the school. So I ended up going anyway, but I found an apartment for a month, then moved in February, and Pink Floyd is coming out to the Rose Bowl, and I love Pink Floyd, and I want to go see Pink Floyd, and I want to see him at the fucking Rose Bowl. So my buddy and I get tickets, and he tells me a married couple that he knows is going to meet us there and sit with us as well. I was like, great. So the 4 of us are hanging out. We're all smoking weed, and the 3 of them decide to do shrooms. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm just going to smoke weed and drink. Get into the show. The show is fucking bananas. I don't know if you've ever seen Pink. I got to see him here and in D.C. at RFK when that was still there. Same summer. And the pigs are fucking bouncing. You know, they're all tripping over there on their shrooms and shit. And I look to my left. And you've been in a Rose Bowl. You're packed in there, you know. And I look back to my right, and my friend Kevin, he's gone. He's gone. And and people start yelling and shit. I look back. This motherfucker passed out, okay? And it's those bleacher seats. So when he went back, his feet got hooked under the back of the front one. And he bent in half. And people, instead of catching him, they got scared and they jumped out of the way. His head hits the bleachers behind him. He goes into a full-on seizure, okay? He's going crazy. His eyes, and they're like, is he epileptic? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I have no idea.
Were you tripping?
No, I only smoked weed and drank. But the 3 of them, they're all to my right. It's him and then the married couple. She sees it. And I think guilt got to her and everything because she's the one that gave him the shrooms. She starts throwing up in her like $50 concert shirt. They're all having a bad trip because he's having a full on fucking seizure. Welcome to the church of what's happening now, everybody. I am Ryan Sickler, sitting in tonight, not really in, but in and next to the one and only Joey Coco Diaz. Here also Lee Syatt. This is a special edition, I guess, of the church. You've never had anyone do this before?
No.
This is an honor. I'm serious.
The Tonight Show, you should let Freddie Prince host and call
Joan Rivers will come on.
Rivers, yeah.
I'm your first guest host.
Yes.
I fucking love it. And I love that you're here for it, though. A lot of times guest hosts and you're not here. Somebody else can host.
Nah.
So we have been documenting your life on the Honeydew. We have done about 40 hours and we're only at 1986. We got through 1985 and 86 last time on the Honeydew. So why don't we pick up here with January of 1987.
January of 1987, I found myself working at a car wash in Boulder, drying off cars. I was one of those guys outside freezing, drying off cars. I started the job like the second week of December, and I worked minimum wage plus tips.
All right, now so just let me refresh here. How old are you in 87 now? How old are you?
24.
Okay.
Yeah, 24. 63 and 4, 24. So I'm wiping down windows, washing down cars, and the only hustle I have are the tips. How can I steal the tips? So
how can I steal the tips?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you break up the tips, I go from making 7 to like 980. That's not going to work for Uncle Joey. I hate to kick up my income. So I figured out that if I drive the car and the guy tips me, if nobody's watching, it goes in my pocket.
Oh, you used to hate pulling tips.
Fuck the jar. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so everybody had to pull all the...
Yeah, here I am getting a nickel, and I got a shirt with these fucking mooks that are moving half the speed of me. So that lasted for a few weeks, and I saw an ad, or somebody told me about a body shop that was hiring, detailing apprentices. Now, I wasn't fucking getting rich at the car wash. I went down to this, whatever the fuck it was, and I apply, and the guy happens to be from New York.
Just the body shop?
The body shop, paint shop, detailing shop. And he goes, I am looking for a guy, but it may not be you. I got a position called the shagger. And where you wash cars, you help the body guys. You got to be here at 6 a.m. It doesn't pay overtime. It pays like $220 a week, and you're here till you're here. And you work hard to become a detailer, and that's where you make your money. Well, I started there like in January, right before the Super Bowl. The Giants went to the Super Bowl against somebody, and or maybe the Broncos. Somebody went. I started the week or two before the Super Bowl because they invited me to their Super Bowl party. They were nice guys, and whatever. I fit in, but I didn't. I did my job. I was really good at it. I used to have to go to car dealers. So this particular body shop worked for a chain called the Crouches in Boulder. At that time, they had Suzuki, Subaru, Acura. Mm-hmm. He had like 4 or 5, Mitsubishi. He had like 4 or 5 different chains, and we washed those cars. And Honda, Metro Honda we had, or something Honda. So I became friendly with all the guys. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? I would help the detailers and pick up cars. And I became friendly with this guy from Jersey at a Subaru dealership. I would go to the Subaru dealership, and they'd be like, the ice cream man got there. What's up, motherfuckers? What up? Oh, shit, there he is. Jersey Joe. Oh, shit. There was a skinny guy from Detroit that looked like a junkie, real good looking. He was cool. The guy's name was Peter Pinto, the manager. There was a dude named Carlos. And I just became friends with him. The lot boy there was working a tremendous scam. He was selling. He was getting like, he was one of those guys that was making $350 an hour, but he was making $80,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like he was one of those guys. Because
how'd you got an above ground pool,
he
man?
He was getting maybe 10 an hour, but he drove like a Porsche because he was taking the Subarus, the SL10, the high-end stereos, and while you bought the car, he would come up to you and go, let me talk to you about something. What do you want to do here? This stereo sucks. What if I could put an SL10 in there if 100 falls out of your pocket? And he would, so all of a sudden the bank came one day and they're like, all the SL10 fucking radios are missing. They're all shitty AM radios. It's fucking hilarious. This place was a thieves' paradise.
Putting the AM radios in place.
Oh
Not even
God.
something
This
that
place
FM on it.
This place is crazy. So now they're yelling at me, when are you going to become a salesman? And I'm like, I'm no fucking car salesman. Stop that shit. That's the third guy in like 3 years that kept bothering me to go sell cars. I'm like, I'm not going to go fucking sell cars. You people are fucking crazy. So I got promoted to a detailer. And that's when you get like, I forget but the pay raise was huge. I went from making $220 to like $1,000 a week. Now I'm doing some powder. I got a little apartment in South Boulder. My girlfriend would come over. I'd give her a couple bumps, eat a little monkey. She'd go home, and I'd do the rest of it. I'd hold out on her. I only got a little bit. You gotta go. I have to go to school anyway. You suck. I thought you got more. Get the fuck out. And then I'd do my thing, and it was great. I loved detailing. I really liked it. I liked the being alone. I liked listening to music. Everybody there smoked pot. It was really cool. But one of my best pieces of work there was once I started leaning, I became a detailer right away. Like they said, it takes 90 days. It took me like 24 days. And they had no choice. I was out working everybody. I was just one of those dudes that even with a monkey on my back, I'm out working you. I ain't working for $220 a week. But the thing that kept me there was a burrito lady. There was a burrito lady that came every day at like 9 o'clock with green chili and mashed potatoes in a burrito. Lee, your head would explode. It was in a blender. She'd put it in a blender. You could taste the little pieces of pork in there.
So it's just a tortilla with
and
mashed
she
potatoes?
let you run a tab and you could pay her on Friday.
Oh, shit.
Oh, she was beautiful. I loved her. But then I was getting hot cigarettes. at the time. I had a friend who was giving me hot cigarettes. I go, you sell cigarettes on the road, coach? He goes, yeah. I'll trade you cigarettes for fucking burritos. So I had her on the cigarette burrito plan. It never ends. The hustle never ends, dog. You don't understand.
It never ends.
It never ended.
Never.
So
What's the conversion? How many cigarettes for a burrito?
I don't know. I forget those days. She was. I don't know what she was giving me per carton, and then I would get the burritos for like $1 off. They were like $2, $1. Delicious. I mean, you couldn't live without them.
That made me hungry when you said
I
the
would.
blender.
I would
That's what
snort
set it
coke.
apart from me.
I would snort coke thinking about that burrito. Like, this doesn't matter.
Stayed in town.
Because at
because
the end
that.
of this shit, I'm getting 6 of those motherfuckers for breakfast. And God, every once in a while, she'd run out of them before she get to my stop. Like, well, let me get 6 potato. I'm all out. What do you mean you're all out? You know I need 2 to fucking make this party happen here. I don't want the red pork. Do I look like I want red pork? I'm trying to fucking, you know what I'm saying? That was like and I became partners with a dude who was on steroids. And one night I went to his house after work. He kept telling me he wanted me to do him a favor.
Wait, I'm just hold on one second. Partners in the detailing business now?
No, he was a detailer.
Okay.
Big yo kid.
And you
Strong
went off
white
and
boy.
did your own thing now?
No. Me and him were goombas.
I see.
We
Just
became
got
friends.
it. Got it.
He watched my back. I watched. He was a big white boy. Good fucking dude. Good family. But I went to his house. He goes, can you come over with me and help me with some stuff at the house? I go, yeah. I didn't know what to expect. I go over there. The guy goes, listen, man. Me and my girlfriend broke up, and she's the only one that could shoot me with steroids. Can you shoot me with steroids? I'm like, listen, I don't know about shooting nobody. I can't even see needles. He's like, you're the only one that can do it. You can do it. I'll talk you through it. I mean, and then I'm like, I don't want to do this. And he's like, you should do some steroids. You got a great build. You lift. And I'm like, I'm not shooting it. And I drank a bottle of steroid juice. That must have definitely fucked my system up. Decadurablin. I just drank it. My face turned red for like an hour. So this is, I'm fucking, I'm out of my mind. I'm out of my mind, guys. I'm snorting coke on the weekends, Molly.
Steroid juice.
I drank a whole container of Decadurablin, one of those little syringes. God knows what's going to happen. So it's supposed to be shot intravenously.
Yeah.
So this is how fucking nuts I was. At the time, I'm living with like another couple, and they're just doing coke all the time. Mm-hmm. She's walking around with her panties. He would pass out, and she'd come talk to me with her panties. And it was just not a good scene. So I got my own apartment. I moved somewhere else. And it raised me up a little bit, like my numbers. Like now I had to pay real rent. Mm-hmm. I was paying like for a room in a house. Now I had to pay real rent. And I was making money detailing, but this cut into my fucking Coco Loco time. Because I used to go to fucking that one place that serves the French fries with the endless
Red Robin.
Red Robin. He used to make Coco Locos. I'd make a tip like 2 extra vodkas in there.